engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
What's up, everybody? This is David Leach. Welcome to the Drinks on Dave podcast, an unbiased, unrelenting, and unfiltered show about everything and anything. So crack a cold one and let's go. Hey, again. How you doing, Dakota?
Good.
Welcome to Drinks on Dave. I'm honored to have you here. Seriously. We have a lot to talk about. We're at Fiddy's Espresso in Kansas City.
Yes, we are.
The home of Drinks on Dave. Lotus energy drink.
Tasting real good today.
You prepped me on energy drinks before we got here, so this is plant-based.
Yes, it is plant-based. No added chemicals in there, so that's great.
So Dakota Clark Pfeiffer,
Uh-huh.
and then the Dakota, which we're gonna get to that in a little bit. But what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at DahDahDakota. That's DahDahDakota.
And you're downplaying, like you're the most famous guest we've had so far.
Oh, well, that's great.
It's amazing.
I don't think that of myself, because I've met a lot of people that have a lot more followers than I do. But for Kansas City, I feel like I have quite a bit. So.
You do. You're from, where are you from originally?
I'm from Kansas City originally, so it's a great city to be back in. I've traveled around a little bit, and so I'm just happy to be home.
And where do you live now? NKC or?
Yeah, in the Kansas side.
Okay, awesome. And the energy drink thing you told me when I first met you. Tell me about the energy drinks. What's in them? Because I'm addicted to them.
What is it? It's
cyanide.
Yeah, it's like cyanide. It's like a derivative of cyanide, and so like every single energy drink on the market, Celsius, Red Bulls, Monsters, they have like this really bad, chemical in them, and they actually market it as like B12, which is crazy because I guess that's what they can put on the can of it. But so yeah, I've been researching that a lot. And
what do you drink? Do you drink them every day? What's your
I like Red Bulls a lot, but now I'm like kind of cutting back on that stuff and drinking more coffee again. So I'm really excited about this. The plant-based energy is great alternative. Yeah,
this is I think the third, fourth episode we've shot at Fiddy's Espresso. So
that's great.
In Kansas City, it's veteran owned. So plug you guys. This is our new home, like that's I told great. You. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've researched you, and you are the most interesting guest we've had, and there's a lot to unpack with you. I mean, right now, what are you currently doing? Like
right now I'm in cosmetology school. I'm almost done with that, so I'm excited to actually start my actual career with it. So I love doing makeup and hair for my whole life. So it's great to actually get my license and be able to do it.
Do you ever want to do it on movie sets, kind of thing?
Yeah, that, or I would love to be a celebrity hair stylist or makeup artist or anything like that. That'd be amazing and life-changing, honestly, because once you are able to cater to the celebrities, I mean, it's a whole different game than just catering to weddings and prom and,
I mean, you have a big social media following, which we'll get to why, but, I mean, do people follow you on there for that? Is that what you do on your social media?
I promote that on my social media, but honestly, I just use it as a platform to, kind of get myself out there and let people know who I am and where I've come since, I've been on social media since I was 16. So it's, it's crazy. I have followers that followed me back then that are still following me now.
Yep.
And they're like, you've come so far in life. And it's great that I can be an inspiration for other people,
And how old are you now?
I'm 22 now.
22, holy shit. So the cosmetology thing, I've always, you either have it or you don't. You're good at it or you're not. So you're basically going through school just to get the tag of it, right? But you're badass at it.
Yeah, I've been doing my mom's hair and my friend's hair since I was 14. So it's great that I can actually go do it and make some real money out of it.
Who do you look up to in that industry? Who's the queen bee in that industry?
I mean, I don't know if I essentially look up to any specific hairstylist, but I definitely I want to take mentorship classes. They have a lot of out of state programs that you can take, and I think that's my biggest thing. I want to experience many mentors and what they know about the industry, not just specifically one.
Do people in your school know who you are? Do they?
Yeah.
Because as soon as you type you in anywhere, you got the blue check mark going.
Yeah, that caused a little drama when I first started.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, so I had to address that with a couple people. But you know what? At the end of the day, I'm a completely different person than I was when I was 16. Anybody would be.
Yeah.
So I guess I just try and tell people, like, if you don't think people can change, then, you have a poor outlook of life,
Well, we'll get to first of all, you were on Dr. Phil. I'm just going to say that so people, because we're hinting around it, and you were 16 when you went on Dr. Phil.
Right.
So the girls in your classes, what was the beef, you think? Like, this bitch thinks she's famous or something? Or?
I guess that's what they thought, or maybe I was intimidating them in some way, they thought, or I don't know. A lot of people, like, don't approach me, but then I'll get, like, the few that do approach me in public or something, like, oh, like, aren't you so-and-so from the Dr. Phil show? And I'm like, yeah, I am.
You have a presence. When you pulled up, you definitely have a rock star presence. So I could see how some cosmetology, because everyone creeps each other on social media.
Oh, yeah. Social media is such a big thing nowadays. Everybody has it. Everybody's constantly on it. I feel like a lot of people don't know what's in real life anymore, like how real life is actually, because social media has all kinds of concepts around it, and they're influencing people all the time. And I feel like it's hard for people to really know when to cut back and actually, like, take a breath of real air outside and enjoy life, like, because life's very important besides all the social media stuff. And I feel like so many influencers are constantly on it all the time, and then that influences the followers to constantly be on it, waiting for the next thing to get posted so they can watch it. And I think it's good, but I also think it's bad in some instances.
It's ruined a lot of connections, emotion. Because everybody, at the end of this, I'm going to take a selfie with you and post it. You know what I mean? That's just what you do.
Yeah, exactly. It's just normal, right?
And you're very interesting, because when you blew up from the Dr. Phil show, when that was your first thing, you were only 16. Social media had already been around. So, for you, it had to be like, holy shit.
I was on social media prior to that, but, like, I did not expect the scale that it went to, because it was just, like, overnight, like, people talk about, like, an overnight sensation, and, like, that's literally how it felt, because my phone was, like, glitching out because there were so many people following me all at once, because they had dropped a promo, like, clip snippet video of it, I think, like, 2 weeks prior to them actually playing it on national television and stuff. But it was crazy,
Did the producers prep you and your mom for, like, the pandemonium that was gonna? Did they say this?
No, they just sent us home from LA. Just sent us home, and they were like, okay, well, it'll be out in a couple months. So, and that was it. That was the last time we ever heard from them,
Which, your Dr. Phil episode, I watched it. It was very, you were on there you were fighting with your mom, right? How did it all come about? Like, did you audition for it?
So, no, it's like, I feel like it's so simple. Like, people are always, like, asking me, like, how did you get on the Dr. Phil show? You literally just email them. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's just one email, and, I guess if they like what you said, they kind of follow up with that. But it's not an audition process. It's more like they're making sure that they have enough to film on, essentially,
Did you were the one that initiated?
So I did, and then, like, my mom had, like, rebutted and messaged them or emailed them as well. And then I guess, like, they thought that was, like, good enough for national television. And then we just went out to LA, like, I think, like, a month and a half later or something like that.
And I want to prep everyone that's going to watch your episode, but at the time, you were just 16, kind of out of control, or you were fighting with your mom, right?
Yeah, I was in trouble.
Beating people up?
No, not even. Just, like, I had gotten in trouble with weed, and I was 16 years old. I feel like a lot of 16-year-olds are running around with their friends, doing what they think is cool, and so I was doing that, and so I was actually in the process of, like, getting a charge in the middle of, like, a legal battle when I went out to Dr. Phil. And when I had came back from the show, I almost feel like he had, like, contacted, like the county that I was living in or something about the case. And they gave me the book after that. Like, I was 16, I had just I got caught with, like, a gram of weed, and Yeah, they put me on like 2 house arrest bracelets for like 6 months and just threw the book at me and like kept me on probation for like a year and a half. And I mean, that's like a lot to go through as a 16-year-old. You know, you're supposed to be enjoying high school and going to the high school dances and just enjoying, you know, being young. And I feel like Dr. Phil kind of took that away from me in a way, because I was like on a platform at that point and I couldn't go back from that. So
I mean, and you said, we talked off camera, you had to switch schools, right?
yeah, I had to switch schools just because I didn't want to get ridiculed every day by my peers at school, like walking down the hallway on house arrest. And, you know, it made me feel that like I was probably going to have to go somewhere and isolate myself, because I didn't want everybody, you know, asking me questions or trying to bully me or trying to fight me to get clout off me or whatever, you know. And it's so weird to think back to that now, that like that's what people cared about, you know. They cared about like the next big thing or blowing up off of like beating someone up or something like that. And like that's crazy. Like even now, kids nowadays like still do the same thing because of social media. And yeah, I don't think that that's gonna get anybody anywhere, fighting some famous person, you know. But many people have tried to do it, or running on the Olympic field, or baseball games or football games. I mean, people do anything to be famous for a second, you know.
And you were right in the cloud era. I mean, when you were 16 and blew up, that was right in the viralness of YouTube, Facebook, all that. So I could see how someone wanted to just mess with you. I mean, did you have best friends that had your back during that time, or did you kind of isolate? Like,
I mean, I did, and like now I'm not friends with any of those people. I mean, I felt like I was being taken advantage of in every reason a person could take advantage of me. And also on top of that, I was super young. I was super naive and innocent. So it's like really hard to understand the whole process of everything I was going through. And I did figure that a couple of my friends maybe would stick around, but no, but it's fine. You know, I have new friends that love me despite all that stuff, you know? And like, that's the best thing to feel, you know, like genuine, caring people who don't care about Dr. Phil or care about Instagram or followers or anything like that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, yes, we do have followers, we do have people watching us, but we are still real human beings at the end of the day. And I think that's what people forget sometimes.
Absolutely. Did that make you and your mom closer at the end?
Yeah.
Like that whole experience?
Yeah, it did, because, you know, they weren't going to help us. I wasn't going to go to a camp or a ranch or, you know, a behavioral center. I wasn't going to do that, because I had honestly felt like my behavioral problems was just honestly because of what my situation was at home and what I was going through with like legal battles. And it made it really hard for me to, you know, grasp like the realness of it. And now that I'm 22, I mean, it was serious. You know, I needed to go through those experiences to make me the person I am today, you know? Yeah.
I mean, people I hope they never forget you were 16 on that. I mean,
I know, I was
at 16,
a baby.
I was listening to CDs in my room, you know, I mean, you were to be thrown in that spotlight, and they don't really prep you for it at all.
No.
And you said when I first met you, we were talking a little bit off camera, which is fucking insane that you didn't even meet Dr. Phil until Action.
No. Yeah, Action. Like, so I had walked out and they were like, oh yeah, well, he's going to be out there. And I'm expecting like, maybe like I'll get to speak with him before the actual live filming goes on. And I walk out on the stage and it is literally a whole audience of people and the cameras are rolling. So I was like, oh, like I was not prepped for this at all. And I was honestly scared because it's like so bright in there, all the like cameras and the lights and then the people, and you're walking like out into the crowd up to the stage, and so everybody's watching you, you know.
And you walked out, your mom was already out there, right? Or did she come out?
I think they had brought me out by myself first, and then they had brought her in.
Because Dr. Phil, in one of the clips I watched, he got kind of stern with you, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And that's what made me to believe that, okay, he had to have sat down with her pre-show and like got nothing, because he was talking, he kind of said, kind of snapped at you.
Yeah, he honestly, like, I feel like he wants to have that persona on video, you know. He wants to seem like the neutral person who's trying to be stern, but same time trying to understand the situation the people he's bringing on the show are going through. But I mean, I feel like it's also just for the money of it and the views. He just wants as many views as he wants, you know. And I think at the end of the day, like the number one question I got was like, oh, did you get paid? Like, how much did they pay you? And like, they don't give you any money. You don't get royalties. You don't get anything. So it's honestly a scam.
Do they fly you out?
Yeah, I mean, they
do
fly you
that,
out,
but
and they put you in a hotel, but
that's $1,000, you know, and they make all those YouTube views off you and commercial views.
Millions of views.
Millions
of views, you know, that, you know, like, yeah, maybe 3 million people knew me in 2017, but you know, those same 3 million people are watching every single Dr. Phil episode, you know? So he has some diehard fans, though, you know, it's crazy.
And it was interesting what you said about your Snapchat, that, you know, your old Snapchat is you were, what, 16, 17 with 100,000 views on your story and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, that had to be intimidating. Like, who are these people?
Right. Like, why are all these people watching me all the time? Like, everything I would post, you know, and just like pictures of my dogs, pictures of my outfits for the day, or anything. And like, people would all just watch it so fast too. Like, you know, it'd be posted for like 10 minutes and there'd already be like 20,000 people that would have seen it.
What'd your DMs look like? I mean, it was just insane.
Flooded out. Yeah.
Wow.
Like, so now like Instagram has updated a lot of their things. So now it kind of puts it in like to a spam.
The spam box.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're all like requests. So I don't have to deal with that. Cause like there would be random people coming through, because at the beginning, like, I think it's like once you hit a certain amount of followers, they start putting like people in your request, or if you're not following them and they're not following you, I don't know how it works, but yeah, it was crazy, you know? I was like, how am I supposed to reply to all these people? What am I supposed to say? Like, what am I supposed to post, you know?
And you're just a kid, too.
Right.
So you don't even, grown people asking you questions. I mean, were people wanting you to do appearances with them, or is it?
Well, that and like brand partnerships, like Fashion Nova. I did like a brand deal with them for a couple years, and so that was really cool. But yeah, I mean, like, and then questions, people saying hate stuff like, oh, you deserve to be on house arrest, you were bad to your mom, like you were a horrible child, people's parents, like it's crazy. There were so many messages and comments I was getting on my posts, and I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I can't handle answering all these people or explaining anything to them, because, I mean, I didn't even understand what was going on at that point with having all those followers, and there's no like guidebook to it, you know, it's just like you figure it out, I guess, unless you get an agency or a management team behind you. So
once you were done with that, did they go home and just kick you to, I mean, you filmed and that was it, right? They don't follow up with you?
No, I would expect like a follow-up maybe a couple years down the road, but
nothing.
And
this was after the Cash Me Outside girl, right?
Yeah.
Bad Barbie or whatever.
Bad Baby.
Bad Baby, okay. So were you getting hate comments compared to her?
Oh,
like you're just a rip-off?
Yeah, all the time. And like that's fine, but we had two completely different situations. We were two completely different ages and two completely different areas in the United States. So, I mean, people could compare me to her, but I mean, she went through what she went through and I went what I went through, and they were similar in ways, but different in a lot of ways as well. So
being so young and like coming through all that, what do you tell people like when they, like at your cosmetology school, when they just Google you or they look at your Instagram? I mean, obviously you're not normal. You have 40,000 followers.
Right. I mean, honestly,
how do you
like sometimes they ask me about it and I was just like, yeah, I went viral when I was younger. You know, some people don't know. I mean, it takes, you know, like you said, the click of a button on Google, right? But some people, I guess like some people don't want to invade people's privacy, you know, and some of them ask me questions. Some of them already know. Like the day I started, I had like 3 girls ask me like, oh my God, weren't you on TV? And I'm like, this is like years later. You think people would forget about it or something, you know? But
and,
I guess it's still relevant, you know?
And the Dr. Phil machine just keeps on churning out. Every day.
New content all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And there's so you sign away all legal rights. Like there's no residuals, nothing, right?
Nope.
Like no real... Not even Instagram real royalties or? No,
nothing. Like, honestly, I had tried to post a story time on TikTok about, like, that whole experience, and it got taken down 4 times. So, just because I had snippets of the Dr. Phil episode in it.
And the copyright of it.
So, I tried to tell my story, you know, but they make it, honestly, impossible for you to tell your story. You know, everything's monetized now, and it's crazy that we have to deal with what we have to deal with on social media. If you're not, you know, promoting some sponsor that's sponsoring the video or anything, you know, it's really hard to get that content out there, you know.
Music's annoying too on TikTok because if you don't use the sound, it's like they yank it. It's like, motherfucker.
And now I have to replace the sound that you took off my video. You know, it's crazy.
so PG on TikTok too. Like, I've been kicked off like 3 times just because
I got banned for like 4 months on going live on TikTok for playing music in the background.
That banned you from that?
Yeah, because I was listening to copyrighted music in the background. But honestly, I feel like a lot of girls who do makeup content do that as well, you know?
Well, they're doing it, yeah. They got something going.
Or they like speed up the video and they like put a song behind it. So I'm like, why did mine get taken down? You know, that makes no sense.
You're the youngest guest we've had too, even at your age now. Like, where do you see? I'm 38. I've been through the social media thing my whole youth. I've seen every stage of it. Like, you grew up in it. So where do you see it? What do you see it doing to your age group in like 10 years? Like, where do you see it?
I mean, honestly, I feel like a lot of people like have gotten off of social media like around my age, just because I mean they realize that like a lot of like music artists that were really viral in our time, they're like past now, and you know they dropped off the face of the planet and nobody knows anything about them. So they're like, oh, like all the people that were relevant, now I have to find like more relevant people, or like stop listening to that music and listen to this new music. And I don't know, everything's switching up every single day. Like some people decide to get off of it that I've known, and then some people decided to just find new niches they like on social media. So it's always evolving.
Do you ever see yourself getting off it? I mean, with what you really can't, because
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, with what you want to pursue.
I think I would like to improve my social media to a different standard and kind of rebrand myself in a way. I think that's where I'm headed right now.
And you can do that. That's awesome that you have that. Just kind of a more grown up, like.
Right, more polished. Yeah, more professional Instagram and social media for sure. But I think my favorite part about social media is like you have freedom to, you know, go into whatever niche you choose, and like you can always change it. You know, you can go to YouTube, you can do podcasts, you could do reels, you can do TikToks, and like it's always evolving, and there's always people on all those platforms willing to watch something new, and that's the best part about it, I think. But I would like to start vlogging, honestly, on YouTube. I think that's what I really want to get into next. I did try to when I was younger, but it was just like all so new to me. Now I know a lot of people who've been doing it for years, and I feel like I have a lot more guidance now to do something like that.
So you were in LA. You said you lived in LA for a while.
Yeah. So
you were kind of did you self-teach self-teach yourself TikTok and all that?
Yeah. I mean, I had friends that had it, and like we're hanging out with people like at the Hype House and a bunch of different locations and content creator houses. But my friends in LA definitely helped me a lot because I had no idea. And a couple of them were a little bit younger than me too. And they understood it because I feel like TikTok's definitely more towards a younger generation of kids already. But I mean, they helped me so much. I did not understand any of it. It was like a new language.
Because you really do have to teach yourself, because if you're not good at it, you ain't going to do nothing on it.
Right, exactly.
Your shit has to look good.
Right.
Like the editing and all that stuff. And you said, how many followers you on that?
Like 27,000 now.
So between that and your Instagram, I mean, you have a big platform. And you have a platform.
Yeah.
Whether people think you do or not, that's a lot of freaking people that follow you.
Right.
And where's your end goal with that? Like what?
I think my end goal would, like I said, try and rebrand it a little bit.
You want millions of followers?
Yeah, rebrand it and like, you know, polish it up and make it look very clean and aesthetic so people want to come look at it, you know? Because I feel like that's one thing, like people see like a profile that has exactly what they love in it, and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to follow them because they love everything I love, you know? Like makeup, hair, like going to the bars. Like that's exactly what I want to do on my YouTube when I decide to get that going. I want to really like vlog my whole life, my beauty routines, my hair routines, even like stuff at school, and just like maybe like hair tutorials on how to foil hair, and just like my life, you know, going out, going to concerts, and just being a 22-year-old, you know.
Do you party? Like, do you?
Yeah. I went to Pauly D the other day at KC Live Blog, so that was pretty cool. And I dressed up like Snooki, and it was just so much fun, you know. I love going to do stuff like that and going to shows. And
was that a paid gig, or were you just going as a fan?
No, I was just going for fun.
And then we talked a little bit, because like I said, you're definitely the most high-profile guest we've had so far. The celebrities that you've met, well, our last guest he was a celebrity guy too. He knew a lot of people, who's some of the people you've met? It's always, I'm a celebrity guy. I love TMZ and all that shit. So.
I don't know. Like, I've met like a lot of artists before, for sure. A lot of producers and rappers. So I don't know. Like, I could name a bunch, but I don't know.
Give me some. Like, if you can say. Like,
So like I met Smoke Perp a couple times. Shoreline Mafia. Who else? I met 21 Savage one time.
Oh,
Cardi
shit.
B. That was Flyover Fest, like, before COVID happened. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, like, I was doing a lot of concert promo, and so I was meeting a lot of people backstage because I was helping, like, put the shows on and get everything set up, and that was a really cool experience.
So you were like promoter slash
yeah, it was
influencer with it, kind of.
Yeah, it was super cool because I had my platform, so I was able to be, you know, a promoter, and that was by far the funnest thing I ever was doing, just because it was changing every time, you know, different venues, different artists, different vibes to each concert, and it was definitely an experience.
I mean, that is the one upside to doing Dr. Phil. I mean, you had that power, you know, a lot of people would kill for that little bit of fame, you know, that you've ran with and done well with.
Right. And I mean, I think that's the thing, like you have to understand that, like, having a platform, social media is always evolving, and that's why you have to understand, like, you have to make changes, you have to post different content, you have to market yourself in different ways to, you know, target different audiences. And I feel like that's hard for some people to understand, that it's always evolving, it's always changing. So you just have to keep up on it every single day and make sure you're putting out content, you know?
How much do you put your personal life on there, like your relationships and stuff? Do you try to keep that separate?
No, I don't really care, you know? Just because, like, I mean, if people aren't going to like me because I'm in a relationship, then what's the point, you know? Unfollow me.
And what does your mom do? Is your mom part of, like, she big on social media because she was your mom? Or
no,
does she just keep a normal?
Yeah, she just, like, posts her regular life, pictures of our dogs, pictures of her at concerts, her friends.
Are you the only sibling? Are you the only kid?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just me and my mom.
And is your dad, where's your dad? If I can ask, I don't want to, was he around or?
Yeah, he was around a little bit. I mean, we still talk quite often, but I don't live with him and I don't really speak with him or anything like that much.
So growing up with your mom, that's where the Dr. Phil thing, you guys were just having problems and you're just being young and.
Yeah. I was kind of rebellious, you know.
She was a young mom, I think, right? Was she young when she had you? She looked young on Dr.
No.
She was normal age.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you guys came out of that like good.
Yeah, I mean, I love my mom. I'm so glad we could like rekindle that and love each other and, you know, just understand each other, because it was just a hard time going through all of that and not really knowing how to handle it, and, you know, then it being literally like just blown out of proportion because you're on a TV show, you know. It makes it 10 times harder to even deal with it, you know.
Because the episode where you guys really, was it kind of amplified by Dr. Phil stirring shit up?
Well, yeah, and like you're there, like doing cuts for the whole show for like 4 days, but your last day in LA is when you actually start filming on the stage, and you walk out, and it's just automatically, you know, a big deal because you have an audience and it's live. But so they definitely made like different cuts from different days to amplify the whole situation for sure.
Yeah, because it looked so intense, and I'm like, of course.
And then they put all the music behind it, and you know. And
the DahDahDakota, is that when you were kind of mocking with Dr. Phil? Is that
where
it's from?
Yeah, that's what it's from.
Because he got pissed when you did that. That was he kind of like told you to shut up in a way, like, don't cuss, and all those people in the audience, just so everyone watching, those are just audience members, like. Yeah,
you can actually like pay to go sit in
just
and watch.
Random extras kind of thing.
Yeah.
Were the producer, what were they like with you? I mean, were they?
They were real snippety, snappy. Like, we need you to do this right now. You needed to change. You need your makeup done. Come on. Like, it was very fast paced, you know, especially the last day when it's actually really happening.
Did they have you and your mom in separate green rooms, or were you guys just chilling in the back together? And then.
No, they had us in separate rooms.
To keep the anxiety up and all that.
Yeah, they kind of separate you for as long as they possibly can, and then they kind of just bring you out, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going on, you know?
But they flew you out together, and
it's
so weird. It's just
it's
all Hollywood.
Yep.
Was that your first time in like leaving Missouri to go?
Yeah, not leaving Missouri, but my first time in LA ever. Yeah.
And what'd you think? Like, holy shit, like that
It was
had
the
to be
first
a
time
lot.
I ever saw the ocean. Santa Monica Pier. It wasn't pretty.
What's up? This episode is sponsored by Fitty's Espresso in the Northland. Thank you for watching the Drinks on Dave podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe at the bottom of the screen. Now back to the episode. But yeah, to wrap up the Dr. Phil thing, you said that was the first time seeing the ocean when you went to LA and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know it, but they shoot on the Melrose lot, right? The actual movie lot.
Yeah, the actual movie lot, which is super cool. I mean, to just experience, all the studios and how a whole studio like that works in big film productions. It's an amazing
Are
experience.
you a movie fan?
Yeah, I love movies. My mom literally always had me watching all kinds of movies. So I just watched the new Twister movie, which was pretty cool.
How was it?
Yeah, it was good. I also saw the new Deadpool movie. That was pretty awesome as well.
Good. And so you've dabbled in acting a little bit, right? Because that's how you know our producer, Steven.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago, but it was fun. I definitely think that I want to get into maybe some podcasts and vlogging and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and work on that a little bit more and get my cameras back out because I haven't messed around with any of my cameras in so long. So
if you did start a podcast, which I really hope you do, what would you want it to be about? Anything?
I don't know. I want it to be like tea time with all my little girlfriends, and us just kind of talk about like how our days are going, what have we been working on with school and hair and beauty and stuff. Maybe like some podcasts about us like in our concert goings and kind of just my life, honestly.
The vlogs,
yeah.
What do they call it? Vlog? I'm so like...
Yeah, vlog, yeah. Whatever.
What would you recommend to someone, because what would you tell a 16-year-old that's about to go through the Dr. Phil or any viral experience?
I would say just like buckle up because it is something, You wake up and you're like overwhelmed with all the comments and the feedback you're getting from good feedback and bad feedback. But that's one part of social media that you have to understand. Like all the feedback you're getting is good feedback because it's keeping you relevant, the good and the bad. So I would say just, maybe ask around and listen to other influencers that you like, watch some of their videos, just figure out like what content is popping in the day, because everybody's always looking for news that's happening or new shoes that are dropping or new clothing brands that are coming out, so I would just say find your niche and just go for it.
What would you absolutely not recommend though? Like the number one thing that you did that maybe that's the biggest regret you had from it?
I would say my rap song.
Your rap song?
Yeah.
You mentioned that.
I know.
Where can we find this, Jim?
It's on SoundCloud. It's called DAHBISH, Da Bish.
Da Bitch.
Yeah, but
Da Bitch or just
Da Bish. Yeah.
Is it a banger? I mean, what
yeah, it was actually produced quite well. It's like the beat has like snippets of the Dr. Phil episode in it. You guys should go check it out. It's interesting.
That might be our new intro song.
Yeah, it's actually pretty decent. You could use it, It's all my beat, so.
Did it go viral too? Like, was
yeah,
that
it's got
part
like 90,000 plays on SoundCloud, so that's a lot. I guess. I don't know. Like, I just never tried to make another song after that, and I was like, and then all the people that helped me make it, like, they moved to LA or Atlanta and they're like big time producers now. It's crazy.
If that blew up and had another coming around, would you go on tour with it?
Like, I would have to come out with more songs, Would
you do it? Like,
yeah, maybe. I would like to like drop a music video for it at least first, though.
You should jump in with the Dirty Machine band.
Well, yeah, I mean, like me being in a band, 90,000 views, that's a lot of hits. Like I don't know, like I'd maybe revisit that unless you're. I'm listening to it as soon as we get done.
You should, we should listen to it together because it's pretty decent. But here's the thing, like. I was super blessed to be able to make that because the people that helped me make that, they made the beat for me, they personalized it just for me, and like I had never been in a studio before, and it's really weird like hearing yourself in a microphone over a beat, and then like how many times we had to cut and redo it, and like honestly, like I can't even believe I even made a rap song. Like it's crazy to think about, but it like sounds pretty decent. So
I mean, I'm a vocalist too. The raw vocals thing's torture listening to them go over your shit. when it's raw, like you
Yeah.
said, like it's like
Yeah,
and they
no,
do that 30 times.
Right. And then you gotta like put ad-libs in it and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this literally sounds crazy over the microphone, you know?
And how old were you when you did this?
I think I was like 17.
So you were just you were wild and right, just at the height of it, not giving a fuck, right?
Yeah, and like I wish I would have like had like more marketing knowledge, you know, because I feel like, you know, that song could have been on multiple platforms and it could have actually done some numbers. SoundCloud's such a weird thing, you know, people can pop off SoundCloud, but you have to consistently be on it and posting your music on cross platforms. So.
And growing up, who did you listen to even rap? Like, who'd you listen to growing up?
Oh my gosh, I listened to
what
like
rap
so much stuff. Honestly, I listened to like EDM back then, rap, country, all kinds of music. So I feel like, I don't know, like all the music I listened to kind of influenced that, but specifically just the SoundCloud rap era. You know, that's like where I was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna make a SoundCloud rap song because everybody else is doing it right now. You know. And
the one, like the only other girl I can compare, her name's Bad Barbie. Is that right?
Bad Baby.
Bad Baby. God. Have you met her? Have you ever been in the same vicinity as her?
No, never.
Have you reached out to her? Like.
No, I think she has plenty of other things to deal with in her life. We both do probably, you know. And now that she's like older and has a kid, you know, I'm sure her life is, you know, full of excitement. So.
But if you do start your podcast, you ought to try to reach out to her. Like that'd be an epic episode. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Because no one, if anyone could feel what you've been through, it's her.
Yeah, and I think that's like one reason why I did really want to like connect with her at a certain point after that stuff, just because nobody understood what I was going through, and not only that, but like every other 16-year-old that I was growing up around, like they really didn't understand what I was going through because they were just living their humble lives, going to high school, you know, getting ready for college. And I'm dealing with like all these followers, all this social media stuff, all these brand deals. And it was really hard to like actually enjoy being 16, 17, you know, just because I was dealing with all that.
Did you have an entertainment lawyer or anyone looking out for your deals?
Nope.
Or was it just you and your mom?
It was just me and my mom. Mostly me, yeah.
Was there a fine print that you didn't catch that you wish you did, or?
I mean, like, honestly, like, just to be on the Dr. Phil show, you sign everything away. I mean, like, that, and, like, that's the thing, is, like, they want you to sign everything away. That's the only way you're able to go on the show, is if you do sign all your royalties away. And, I mean, like, I am grateful that they gave me a platform, and I was able to market myself off of that platform and, you know, make some money on brand deals and stuff like that. But I just really wish, like, I had a management team. But Bad Baby did have a management team, and they ended up taking a lot of her money. So I'm honestly kind of glad that that didn't happen to me because, you know, who knows what would have happened if I had a management team under me and they decided to market me and made me do all these promos and brand deals and stuff, and then they took like 55% of everything that I got or something, then it wouldn't even matter.
There's a lot of evil back end deals on that shit too.
Yeah.
Or you couldn't even rebrand yourself.
Yeah.
They'd own that or something.
Yeah, they would. They just own it forever and own you. So really glad that did not happen. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. But I don't know. I think, you know, like moving forward, I mean, the opportunities are endless with what you could do. And I really hope that people can, you know, younger people that have been viral. And another thing I wanted to ask you about is the thing, when you go viral, the high is so high, but then when it drops off, that can be low, right?
Oh yeah, super low. Because you know, one day you're having all these people message you and asking you for advice on their lives and all this stuff. And you know, one day you wake up and it's like all those people, they don't like your social media posts anymore. They're not watching you. You're not as relevant. But I think it's important to, you know, just keep evolving with it and you know, maybe try and spread some positivity through it, because I mean, it's a blessing to be able to have a platform to put anything out there for people to watch, you know. But I think a lot of the social media influencers now aren't posting positive content, and you know, it sucks because there's a lot of younger people and younger generations watching it, and we need to, you know, put out information that's good and positive, and just talk about mental health too. A lot of influencers don't talk about that side of it, you know, how important it is to be careful with what you say and how you approach certain situations on social media, because you say one bad thing on there and you're canceled, you know?
Absolutely.
So.
And people think cancel culture is over. No, it's not.
No, it's been around for years. And
it's still there.
Yeah. Even in you know, big time actors and actresses, you know, they get canceled all the time. You never see them again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I got a Tenacious D tattoo. They're in shit right now.
Right.
So that never goes away. But I've noticed that I was going to say mental health before you brought it up, I swear, because people, they can't really put their mental health issues out there. Like,
No.
I've had a really rough year, and like you would never tell by my social media.
Right.
It's always goofball memes, but it's a thing. And I think influencers, they have to have more positive shit out there.
Yeah.
Because the 16-year-olds now, like, it's a different world. Even
really
when you were
is.
just...
Yeah,
just
a lot of
changed.
kids, like when they were 16 and I was 16, like a lot of kids were like watching all the rappers, you know, they're like popping pills, hanging around with gangsters, having guns and all that stuff. I mean, like, and that is literally like publicized, and like younger kids are watching that and they're like, oh, I want to be like that one day. I want to be popping pills. And it's like, that's not cool, you know? And I feel like a lot of kids, like, that's why they wanted to become SoundCloud rappers. Like, I know people that got face tats just because SoundCloud rappers and rappers had face tats. Like, that's insane. Like
Lil Pump and all them, or like whatever that...
Yeah, like a lot of them have face tats. And like, you know, kids are like, oh, that's so cool. Like, I want to be like them. Let's go get a face tat. Like, what do you mean? It's a face tat. Like, that's going to be on there for the rest of your life, you know?
When you growing up, I had MTV, but I'm way older than you. But what did you have? Like, was MTV, like, what did you...
I love Jersey Shore. I love MTV.
When you went to Pauly D, you were actually a fan.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You remember that.
Yeah. I've literally watched, like, Jersey Shore, like, start to finish, like,
How old were you
times.
when that came out?
I was super young. But,
do you
like,
remember it vividly? Like,
yeah,
what?
because you know what? Like, I had, like, cable, and my mom had DVDs and VHSs, and I was always watching something, you know? So I'm glad I got to grow up, like, on, like, good TV and good movies, you know?
Because, I mean, you had to have been, like... super young when that came out. That
yeah,
was like,
I feel like a lot of people like watched Adam 22 like back in the day, because he had a podcast back in the day too, and it started out like BMX stuff, and then he kind of got into like interviews with rappers and a whole bunch of stuff. But I used to watch a lot of Adam 22 when I was younger.
I love him. I mean, he interviewed my some like Insane Clown Posse. He does everything.
Yeah, he does everything, and that's why I like him. You know, he doesn't just specifically do rappers or clothing brands. He does everyone.
Have you reached out to him? I can't see how.
I've been to his old studio off Melrose before when I was out there. Yeah.
What's
no
your
jumper.
What's your dream podcast to be on?
I don't know. A big one right now is Call Her Daddy. Alex Earl has a big one right now. A lot of girls, they do like in live like podcasts essentially. They like have like tours and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. Like the concept of like being on stage just like this in front of a live audience doing a podcast. I mean, that would be like the dream right there, you know?
I mean, you can come up with your own, but I mean, I think you ought to like start your own and like interview people that have been in like similar situations than you. Like interview, I don't know, reality people. Just start one. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we did. We just fucking
started it. You're like,
literally in my
let's
living
go.
room.
Yeah.
That's really all you got to do. But I mean, you know, to slowly wrap things up with everything. I mean, I just want to hammer down, you know, with the election coming up and all that, with just social media is just bigger than it's ever been. I mean, I don't know how to ask this, but like, where do you see it going in the next, I've already asked you, but like in the next 5 years, where do you see it going?
Social
like
media?
in live, like where do you?
I don't know, honestly. You know, it's like real iffy with everything right now. There's so much, like, TikTok is it's a wild platform, honestly. Like, there's so much censor.
Truth, though, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth, but there's a lot of things that are being censored on TikTok. And I think, like, that's the hardest part, to get onto a platform that's, like, you know, hushing people up about what they're posting, or like you said, taking the sounds off of things. Like, you know, like we should have a platform where we're free to post whatever we want, with whatever sounds we want, with whatever edits we want. And I feel like once we get, you know, a platform that's letting us do that and enabling us to be able to do that and say what we want, then social media will be at its height.
Because TikTok, I mean, there was Vine, then TikTok. Something's going to take TikTok's place.
Probably.
I mean, that's like the next in line. And they'll do exactly what we just said, where it's free for all.
Right.
Because I mean, me being if someone used my shit on their stuff, I wouldn't want it muted. Use my shit. What the hell? Give a shit.
Yeah, remake my video with me in it and you're reacting to it or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter, And I think it should be like that, so more people have voices and can voice their opinion on whatever content they like,
But the record labels stepped in and did that music bullshit. That's who did that.
Yeah.
Where you can't, a lot of artists aren't even on there anymore. Their catalog isn't even on there. It's like fake sounds, like a Post Malone sound is like something you recorded in your car, I noticed.
Yeah, or you recorded it off another phone and someone made it a sound.
So are you even on Facebook? I'm just trying to so you still do Facebook?
Yeah.
And Instagram, everything?
Twitter, TikTok.
Where do people follow you on Facebook? Just your name?
Yeah, it's just Dakota Clark on Facebook.
Awesome. Do you post on there a lot?
Yeah, just more personal
I
stuff.
creeped and found you on there. I just didn't know if that was like...
I have like a like page on Facebook and I have like a personal
so you have
account.
I think I found your personal one, but you actually have a liked page on there too. Okay, cool. And where do you want our viewers to follow you the most?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on TikTok at DahDahDakota or Instagram at DahDahDakota. They're all the same on all my platforms. Makes it easy that way,
When you hit Dr. Phil with that, was that improvised or did you know you were...
I had to think of something, Had to think of something that I could market myself with,
I like it though.
Yeah.
Pissed him off too.
I know. He was mad.
And
he also said we come from the same streets. Like Dr. Phil went to like my same high school district.
Really?
Yep.
He's from here?
Yeah. He's from like the Kansas side.
No shit.
Yep. He was like, yeah, me and Dakota, we come from the same streets. And I was like, Dr. Phil, what streets do you come from?
Where was he? A Leewood boy? Where the?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Then I asked you, how big is he? Is he tall or what's he like?
Yeah, I feel like he's like a normal size man.
Guy.
Yeah. Super bald.
Yeah, the light shines pretty bright on his
real shiny head.
And when the crowd was like kind of...
Oh my gosh, that made me so upset.
Were they telling people like in the rafters to boo you
and shit?
No,
honestly, but I think they tell them prior to like us coming out. Like, because they have to. Because like, how do you know when to like applaud and boo and be like, oh, yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like,
I was kind of pissed off for you because I was seeing these grown women like doing this shit, like, you fucking little bitch. I was like, what the hell?
Like, what is your problem?
There has to be. I've only been to like one of those late night shows and they have applause show up, but that crowd definitely was coached to like,
yeah, they had
you're the antagonist, so you're not.
Right, and then like I looked to the crowd, I'm like, none of you can say you're perfect. Like, none of you in the crowd are perfect. So why are you booing me and ridiculing me for the way I'm acting on stage when none of you can say you're perfect, We're all just human beings at the end of the day. That's essentially what I was trying to say, It's like, but they want you to feel belittled when you get on that stage. That's what they want. That's what gets the viewers, so.
And people your age, I mean, like your friends that you hang out with, this, like, what's their view on everything going on in the world? I mean, you were so, like, to go through COVID, such a weird time in our lives.
So
I mean,
weird.
You said that's when you moved back here.
Right.
From LA. I mean, that had to be...
That was so weird. And I mean, like, I moved out of LA, like, when COVID had hit. And so, like, all the freeways were, like, nobody was on them. It was like a ghost town. Like, honestly, you could have made a really good, like, apocalypse film during that time. But, I mean, it was super weird to see, like, one day, like, all the freeways, there's nobody on them. Everything's closed. Nobody's outside. Like, a lot of people walk in LA, right? Or ride scooters. Like, nobody was outside. And I was like, yeah, I mean, there's nothing I can really do out here at this point. So. And
I seen a picture because I told you I lived out there for years too. The 405 was empty. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
People, if you don't live in LA, you don't know how scary that is.
Yeah, because people are so busy and constantly on go mode out there, having to drive here and drive there and go to their next job, and like to see nobody out, it was like, yeah, it was super surreal.
Did you get depressed during COVID? Like,
I mean, honestly,
that's a weird time to be young. Like,
yeah, but like social media was there.
It was.
You know?
Didn't miss a beat. That's
Nope.
for damn sure.
A lot of people blew up during COVID. It helped a lot of people's platforms grow because everybody was on their social media and on their phones inside. So I think it was a very good thing for at least like social media influencers and YouTubers and stuff like that.
So I was out there the day, so you were out there when I was out there. I remember the day I was delivering pizza in Burbank as a Domino's driver. And I remember the first day shit got weird. My boss was like, they want you to leave it on their porch. I'm like, what? You know, remember the first time you saw, it got weird out there. This is like the day before the world shut down.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I drove up to this house, Pizza Boy, and I left the pizza and I got in my car and the family all came out in masks. That's the first time I saw that.
I would be like, what's going on?
It really was weird.
Yeah.
My mom was like, come home. They're going to lock you up in a camp. Come home. It got weird.
Yeah.
I drove home
Yeah, I
the
went
day
to
COVID hit.
Yeah, I went to like one or two parties after COVID had happened and they shut everything down. They shut the power down in this house. Like, because LA County had announced, like, if we find out there was a party or more than 15 people in one location, like, we're shutting the power down and everything. We're, like, literally at a house party, and then the lights just cut black.
Just to disperse you.
Yeah, just to disperse us. And then there was a bunch of cops outside. I was like, oh, my gosh, like, this is way too serious to even continue to be out here, you know?
When did you say, fuck it, I'm going home? Like, this is... Because
Yeah.
there's no point to being out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was, like, after that. Like, I think 2 or 3 days after that, and I just, like, got all my stuff and sent like 6 suit bags, like, you know, all the way home. I had to pay like so much money at the airport to get all that stuff. But then like I got on my flight and like LAX was dead. And there was like maybe like 9 people on this whole entire flight.
Which is scary.
So scary. And I was like, okay, all right. And then I got to Kansas City and no one's wearing masks at the airport. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is cool. And then they shut down KC, you know? And then I was like, well, this sucks, you know? But you know, I'm glad that our city wasn't shut down for as long as LA was, you know, because they, you know, everyone moved out after that. You know, a lot of people moved to Arizona and Texas and a lot of different places. So
I never would have left if it didn't happen. I mean, everything happens for...
I think, yeah, a lot of people would have never left, honestly.
No, it got weird. My landlord was getting weird because she had her older mother lived. I rented their back house. Everybody was just weird. It just shit. And then LAX being dead, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
You have to show up 5 hours before your flight, by the way.
Yeah, seriously.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And
if you don't, you're missing it. You're on the next flight out after that.
And 9 people on your flight. What a weird time.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like, you know, like I saw like a couple people in the airport, but they were like dressed in like full hazmat suits, like super, super scared, you know, like gloves on and everything. I'm like, I mean, if it's like an airborne thing, you're still going to get it even if you're wearing all that, like, you know, but. You know.
Have you been back out there since?
Nope.
You haven't been back out since?
No, I haven't.
It's different now. It's a little dirtier out there. Burbank's weird. No, it's just weird. I don't know. It's like a shift.
I don't
Never
think,
recovered.
Yeah, I don't think I plan to go back out there, honestly. I'd rather, like, I just got my passport this year. I'd rather, like, experience somewhere out of the country for sure.
Have you ever, I've never left America.
No, I haven't yet. But my mom has friends in Italy, so I want to go there for sure. And then, yeah, I went to Puerto Rico last year, but that's not technically out of the country, but yeah.
Your analytic, when you look at your social media, do people out of the country follow you too? So
yeah,
you could have fans out there. You didn't.
Yeah, all over, honestly, which is so cool.
I didn't know if Dr. Phil and all that reached out that far, but YouTube's...
It's a national television show. People all around the world watch Dr. Phil. I had fans from Australia and UK, and I would be like, oh my God, like people in the UK know who I am. That's like insane to think about. Like, I'll never meet that person, but they know who I am, you know? Were
some of your fans girls, obviously, that had the same kind of upbringing?
Yeah, a lot of younger girls, even older girls, and parents that felt bad for me, and all kinds of different kinds of people, honestly.
The fact that Dr. Phil reaches that far and like there's no royalties involved or nothing. That's bullshit. It
really is. I mean, it makes you think, like, how much is he profiting off of me?
I mean, I just know from being in a band, like once you hit a certain level on YouTube pays.
Right.
Commercials. I mean, watching your clips, I had to sit through 3 commercials. Tide commercial. I mean, someone's getting paid off that.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't put. Well, yeah, premium's the shit. YouTube Premium is the shit. But no, watching her clips, I was like watching a CBS show, and then I looked at the comments and I seen all different like Arabic comments, all
kinds of stuff. Yeah, people from all over. I mean, and that's so crazy because like, you know, like one time I was in like Florida and I was just like literally out at like a mall in Orlando, and like some like 17-year-old girl had stopped me. She's like, "Is your name Dakota?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I follow you on Instagram." Like pulled her phone out and showed me, and I thought it was the weirdest thing because like, yeah, I'm from Kansas City. I'm all the way in Florida. I'm minding my business at the mall with some friends, and literally like some random girl knew who I was, and I'm all the way thousands of miles away from home. You know, I mean, like that really puts it into perspective. You don't know anybody else there, but someone knows you. You know.
I mean, when I went to your Instagram, I had girls my age that I went to high school with that follow you, and they're kind of those girls that are into pop culture, and they like I expected them to follow you, but it's still random because they don't know you. I mean,
a lot of people, and that's the thing. Like I would go out in KC, and like people would stop me. "Oh, you're Dakota, right? Like I follow you on Instagram." And I mean, I know a lot of people in KC actually, so I know that a lot of people know me and I know them, but like a lot of people don't know me for real in real life. And like that's the scary part is like, I mean, like it makes you feel kind of intimidated when you go out and you're just trying to have a good night and like someone ruins it because they're like, "Oh wait, I think I've seen you on TV." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you probably have," you know.
Well, you can't be unfamous.
Nope.
That never goes away.
That never goes away.
I mean, if you run for political office one day, Dr.
like,
Phil will be brought up, and everything you've done, like it's
DahDah for president. Yeah.
I'd vote for you. Fuck. But no, I mean, it's just nothing's deleted. Nothing goes away.
Nope, it does not.
I mean, and sooner people realize that, I think the better they'll be.
Right.
We've been, your whole life, you've been bookmarked, and since social media started, everything's just archived. I mean, I've had 5 Facebooks. All that shit's still somewhere.
Right.
Snapchat. People think when it deletes, that shit don't. FBI, police, whatever.
Oh yeah.
The press.
They're all watching. Big Brother's out there.
They could pull that shit up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, they could.
I had a blast with you, and again, we're at Fitty's Espresso in Kansas City, the home of Drinks on Dave podcast. But I just want to thank you again for coming on. Like, I really appreciate your time because no one has time anymore, and you know it means a lot, and it's been a really interesting episode.
Yeah,
I wish you the best, and I'm a fan for life now. I wish, you know, I can't wait to see what you do next. I mean, to everybody watching, to wrap up, what's the next big thing you got going? You got something cooking, like?
Yeah, I think I want to start like vlogs, and then probably start making like hair content for my platform for my hair account, and yeah, just get some new stuff out there, get some new stuff creating, and.
What's that again? Plug your hair account too.
Oh yeah, at DahDahDakota. That is my hair at. So yeah, tap in, guys. Come get your hair done.
Where is your show? Like when do you graduate? Like
in October.
October. That's gonna be. And are you gonna have you gonna like rent a chair? Are you gonna have your own shop?
I'm actually thinking of doing like a mobile beauty trailer.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So you know, like I'm gonna try and cater and like just kind of pull up and you know get it done that way. You know, I feel like a lot of stylists aren't accommodating anymore, you know, like they have a set schedule. If they're booked up all week, you know, they can't really fit anything else. I want to be able to accommodate to everybody. You know, if I have to drive to Kearney, Missouri for a wedding, I'll drive to Kearney with my trailer, you know?
I've never heard of that. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I have never heard of something like that. That's a great idea, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that started. I got to find a trailer first.
Have some music in there. Have some lights. And shit.
Yeah. I'm making it all pink. It's going to be real cute and girly.
Make it a whole experience.
Yeah,
whole ass
honestly.
Experience. That's awesome. Well, like I said, we're going to wrap up one more time. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
The Lotus Energy drink at Fitty's Espresso. Amazing, plant-based. And I want all my viewers to go follow this girl, support her in all her endeavors. And thank you for watching Drinks on Dave podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for checking out the Drinks on Dave podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe below so you never miss an episode. Because you never know who's going to show up and have a drink on Dave.